Alright, well, it says we're starting. I'm not sure if we are. Yes. Make it work. We are starting. At least that's what it looks like. Okay. Situate my butt over here. How you guys doing today? I'm actually gonna have food during this time, so normally I don't. It's just kind of loud, but I'm hungry. So I guess we'll kind of ASMR broccoli. I can't stand ASMR. I'm doing it, it's just funny. But I can't stand it. How do we say hello? What's the greeting in Maori? Wounded monk. I guess we'll get more ASMR sound action. There we go. Should have opened that before. My bad. Sorry. I got news up here. I don't know if anyone wants to talk about the news. I don't know what you guys want. I'm glad you made it this time, Summer. Alright. So if anybody's lazy and wants to be healthy, I recommend vegetables that have been either frozen and you bought them that way, or you just buy some vegetables on sale and chop them up and then put them in the freezer and then put them into the what's it called, you know, like an air fryer or microwave, whatever, and just have a good time with it. Okay, those are very helpful phrases, which I'm probably gonna mess up, so I'm only covering my mouth for you guys. So, people don't like it when you talk with your mouth full, but I'm one of those people. So I don't mind it at all. Yeah. Let me know if it bothers you when people talk with their mouth full. I always stash them in my cheeks and then talk. I don't want to breathe them in, you know? So, that's the thing I never understood. Like, you can't see the food when I'm talking with my mouth full. So if you're grossed out by that food thing, then you don't see it. So I never understood why that was gross. But I don't understand a lot of things about people. I just don't. Alright. So, looks like the climate thing's going on. Cool. Oh no. That's a frightening thing. I think we should all just stay home. Right? Stay home for this one. This is not like an image from today, right? Nobody's got their mask on. This is like a file image. But yes, stay home, you guys. Stay home. No bother. Well, that's good. Yeah. I'm, probably should also let you guys know, today is a look for my geography class. Yesterday I did a really fun one. I think I should just probably post it in the Discord or something. It was, like Italian Renaissance sort of look. Today, we're studying more about North Africa, and I wanted to do sort of a look that's like modern Egyptian, a bit, so just kind of inspired by that. And I do have these pretty awesome giant scarabs, so that was extra fun. And these fake eyelashes, they're the magnetic kind, if anybody is interested, so very fun. Snow, yes, it is snowing. You did catch me, Sugar. You caught me exactly as I was talking about an Egyptian-inspired thing. Could this pass? Could this look pass? Romanian or Greek? Is it the lace I wasn't sure if I was going to go for my history class look today and just do something very bare. And I started off today very bare because we were talking about like Anabaptists. And then I thought, well, I did history yesterday. Let's try geography today. But then by that point, I was just out of time. So I ended up having to just like grab a top. So I feel like I had messed this up. Yeah. Not in the south. Okay, so at least it's some part of Egypt. At least I could pass. Right. I'm starting with this nose. So which country in Africa is your favorite, Sean? Yes, they were caught between the Reformation and the Counter-Reformation. We talked about that. We talked about Calvinists, predestination. We also just talked about the students were just very, I don't know, they seem very down today. And we talked about death for like the first 15 minutes of class, just the concept of death. And it was interesting, I did my best not to cry because I have one of my siblings had passed a few years ago. And so sometimes, they asked me is it okay for you to talk about this? Because one of them knows that. A couple of them know it. And I said, it is, but they say that time heals all wounds. I don't know if that's true. That you just learn how to stop crying about it so much. That's kind of it. So, yeah, if you guys are wanting to talk about that too, because I know it's such a downer of a topic. And please let me know if I have any broccoli in my teeth. I just realized. I know it's such a downer of a topic, but I think it's good to talk about it sometimes, so it's not just all held in. So if you guys are just curious, or if you've never experienced the death of a younger person in your family, then it's one thing to know like your grandparents are dying or your parents are dying, and of course it's still very sad, but it's a little different when it's like a younger sibling, I think. Yeah, it just hits you differently. So if you guys have questions about it, just in case you have to do it, because I was mad. Like, I felt like I was so unprepared. Like, why did they teach us any of this stuff in school? Time heals all wounds. Hallmark said that no one in the real world. Yeah. There is something that I will say. I always thought it was just a saying when people said, and not a day goes by that I don't think about this person. And I was like, yeah, that's just a saying. You're just saying that to make you sound like you care extra. So it's so true. And there are times when you forget even. Like, I saw a pair of shoes that my sister would have loved. And I took a picture and I was going to text it to her. And then I was like, I can't, And it's not like that had happened a lot right after the death. But this was like recently, this was in December or something. So, I sent it to another family member, and then we just started talking, hey, isn't this something that she totally would have loved? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. It's like you do every stupid thing can remind you of them so unexpectedly. I think the worst time was when we were having exam week, and my coworker wanted to recommend that we were talking about stuff he listened to when he was a teenager, and he was talking about who does the Black Parade, that song. Is it My Chemical Romance? That was like after I was out of high school, so I don't know if you guys know, because I think we're all similar age-ish, or similar generation anyway. So he was sharing that with me, and I was like, oh yeah, I've heard of them, but I've never actually seen anything. So we started watching the music video before school. I did not make it a minute. I lost it. I just couldn't help it. It's anything that is about the concept of like we can still live after we die, so that way maybe I can see her again. Of course I would hope for that to be true, so anything like that. Like when I saw Coco, I was just inconsolable. Even that movie about That's that weird Santa movie that they put out. It's like an animation about a mailman who goes and lives north, or a mail carrier that lives somewhere near, the North Pole, and then the Sami people are the elves, I don't know, it's just this guy, this big, like, burly, Viking-looking dude, in Finland, I guess, and he was real Santa or something. Every year he got to visit his friend, like, he comes back, like, once a year on Christmas or something, and that's Santa. But it was that guy's buddy, and so he got to spend time with him. I just lost it. So I'm watching this thing, and I couldn't stop, like that crying that, like, hurts your throat, where you're making, like, these sharp sounds, and I was just at work, and we got all these students, I gotta, like, proctor an exam, so he offered, since he had nothing the first period, he's like, look, I'll proctor the exam, but you gotta proctor, it's kind of, and I'm like, it's just so bad. And it's just, I can't watch a music video, and it's just, like, so, I mean, I'm laughing about it now, but it's just, you gotta laugh or you'll cry. But it's just stuff like that. It just hits you so unexpectedly. It's just so unexpected. You'll be out with your friends, and then you just have to excuse yourself to the bathroom, and it's just so unexpected. I don't appreciate that, especially since crying triggers a migraine. So that's extra. Let's see what you guys are writing here. People bury their parents underground. Parents bury their kids in their heart. Just a Korean expression. Then I wonder where I would have buried her. I guess in my heart. You also can't really think straight. You just can't. And I can't blame anybody that gets suckered into, I don't know, scams and stuff. I feel like preying on people who just lost someone I think it should be illegal. Like psychics and stuff. And I feel like it should be illegal to do that. Like, if you go and seek out a psychic, okay, but if you're in a grieving state, I think that they shouldn't. It doesn't help you, I remember one of the things that I was so upset about was thinking about her on the coroner's table, and that they would have been messing up her hair. And I was just so preoccupied with that her hair has to look nice, otherwise she'll get mad. And that I knew it was nonsense. But wow, that really bothered me. And then when we got to see her, her makeup was wrong. And I had bought a lip color that I knew she would have worn, that I wouldn't have worn, but I bought it to wear to, I don't know, it made sense to me at the time. And I had it, and so we put it on, and then they've discontinued that shade since then, and I've never used that lipstick since. And it was like a lip cream, so it wasn't like it touched her mouth physically. I just don't want to waste it, because if it's gone, it's like, that's another thing that was connected to her that's gone. It's very stupid. But I don't know. I really think it's unfair. And I did have a lot of people trying to... Actually, there was somebody that was in the comment section on some of my other videos, just trying to guilt me back into religion. And it's just like, how dare you? How dare you use this to twist me in such a cruel way? It's like, you already see there's a knife in my heart. Like, why are you grabbing it and twisting it and thinking you're helping me by that? It's just very strange. I still have old voicemails from my mother I can't delete. Yeah, I believe it. And I would back them up. Save them on some other thing just in case something happens, I lost it. I thought you meant you were angry. No. Grabbing the television off the stand, thrusting it across. No, I was like snot just bubbling out, just sobbing at my desk. Oh, it was so stupid. Of course, my coworker felt so bad. He didn't think about it. He was just like, oh yeah, this is a video I really liked. It's very famous. You should totally watch it. And then we watched it, and I feel so bad for him thinking back about it, that just, he's like, yeah, this band is my favorite band. And then just like somebody just loses their mind just at the computer. Yeah, that was something. That was something. I think that's one of the reasons it's so frustrating that like places like the US are so, I don't know, apathetic towards a lot of the people that have been lost. Like, oh well, you know, some people say it's like sacrifice for the economy, and I don't know if I would necessarily say that. I don't know if I would necessarily not say that. But the idea that everyone that is around those individuals, like it's not 400,000 people whose lives have been changed. It's 400,000 people whose lives have been lost, and everybody that's connected to them, that's their lives have been changed. And it's just hard to think about that, you know, and that they can't even attend a funeral or something. You know, that's difficult. That's really difficult. And I think we have to remember that. It's not like, oh, well, everybody dies. I mean, it's so, I don't know. I don't like how callous a lot of people have been on social media about it. That, well, you know, the flu kills people too. Okay, that doesn't mean we should spread it around, you know? That means that we should do a better job when we have the flu. That's what that means, not, oh well, you know. So, yeah. With the ugly snot bubbles. Well, I guess they are snout bubbles, right? With this big old thing. Many people use religion to convince themselves they haven't quite lost their loved one forever. Right. And I've thought about that. I've thought about just believing it. Just believing it, you know? And I can't, because I know I'm lying to myself. And again, it's not that I'm saying there is no afterlife. There's just no evidence of an afterlife. And those are two, you know, different statements, but effectively, as you live your life, it affects your daily life very similarly. And so sometimes, yeah, I'll just talk to the air, you know, but I know I'm doing that it's like on the off chance that she's there some way, but really I know I'm talking to my memory of her, and it's like I know her very well, of course, you know, so we can kind of reconstruct and predict, oh, well, this is how she could have responded to it. But what I told the students is that I think the hardest part is it's if you think of everybody's life like a storybook. In this case, a chapter had abruptly ended, and then that's it. There's no more writing in that book. All the rest of the pages are blank, you know, and there's no conflict resolution. There's no extra character development. All of the things that were in the air are left that way. And it's just hard. You know, it's annoying enough if that would have happened to a movie. If you're watching a movie and they just ended it randomly, right? That's annoying enough. But for that to have been a person, you know. So it's difficult, for sure. But you I don't know. My brother and I were talking about it, about how that's it. You know, there's no additional... We don't get to make new memories. We only get those memories. That's it. If they were good memories, great. If they weren't good memories, oh well. You know? And that's it. You don't get to make up for any of it. You know? You don't get to fix it. I think that's the hard part about it. And I think that's one of the reasons you want to see them again. Because none of us are perfect. All of us have had negative interactions with the people we care about. And maybe we didn't exactly specifically apologize or something for that. We were going to just do it later. We didn't think it was necessary. Oh, well, they knew anyway, you know. But it's sort of a reminder, too, that we really have to value the people we do have. Because if there's an afterlife, awesome. But if not, then... You know, even from a purely selfish reason, you know, so that way somebody else can die and I can feel resolved about it. I don't know. Let's see. From what you're saying, it sounds like you're much closer to an agnostic animist. Similar with the Egyptians who are animists, you're closer to Egyptian than you thought. Well, genetically, I'm closer to Egyptian as well. But I'm saying that I'm not saying that there is a spirit or disembodied version of our personality. I'm saying, wouldn't that be nice? But I'm not saying I believe in that. So, yeah. Basically defining being agnostic. So agnostic is not like a midpoint between theist or atheist. So just to make sure we got that. You're theist or you're not. You're convinced at least one God is real, or you're not convinced. If you are convinced at least one God is real, then you are theist. If you're not convinced that at least one God is real, you are atheist. And that's it. It doesn't mean that you are convinced that no gods are real. It doesn't mean that. It can. Just depends on the person. Yeah, being agnostic and being atheist are not mutually exclusive, right? If you want to get into what agnostic does refer to, it refers to whether you think knowledge about the gods is possible. So, assuming gods are real, do you think it would be possible for us humans to know about it? And to know what the gods want for us, you know? So, I'm not sure. So that's why I'm agnostic atheist. So agnostic because I don't know if there's gods. I don't even know if we would even know about it. You know, some people say, like, does an ant know the thoughts of humans? But I mean, think about like a video game. You know, does the video game know how the creator exists? You know, its creator. You know what I mean? If I create a video game, would those characters know about me? I could try to program them with knowledge, but it's not knowledge. It's just a repeating, you know, it's a phrase that they would repeat or something. They wouldn't understand me, even if there was AI in that I had built in. I don't know why that hid your comment. I'm going to unhide it. All right. Yeah, most atheists are agnostic atheists. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that we got to remember that. You know, those are it. So, you know, I don't know is atheists. Like, it's not like, again, there's no like midpoint. It's either it's like, you know, you're pregnant or you're not pregnant. There's no like halfway point, you know what I mean? I've heard it described as not saying there isn't a God, just not seeing any evidence as such. I mean, that's atheist, right? That's not holding a belief because you don't see evidence, you know. So that's explaining why they don't believe, but it's still the same concept, not holding a belief, right? So how close is that to deism? That is the affirmation there is some creator of God or nature, but there's no way of communicating its knowledge or attributes. That's what Thomas Jefferson said. So for that would be an agnostic theist. So that's what a deist is. Agnostic theist. They're theists because they do have a belief that at least one God is real, in this case some type of creator God, but agnostic because they don't claim to know or claim to be able to know what this deity is thinking, what it wants for our lives, anything like that. So it's an agnostic theist. But that's a good question. Yeah, so that's that. How did we get to this topic? We were talking about Lunar New Year. Talking about Lunar New Year, my goodness. That's what's fun about these free conversations. We just kind of go everywhere. Wow. Okay, great. I'm glad you understand it now. I'm gonna take more of this drink here. What are you guys eating and drinking right now, if anything? While we talk more about this. Like, look, it's... Are they not gonna do it? Come on, just not. How about we just don't? Okay. Good. Their city's under lockdown. Good. I'm glad to hear that. No traveling. Good. Good. You know, I'm glad they're doing all these observation periods and stuff. They need to do that. They need to take care of that. This is a huge country. You know what I mean? As an aside, one of the things I love about Koreans is the stainless steel chopsticks. Yes, those flat chopsticks are fantastic. These are not them. These I got from Japan. Hang on. I don't know how bothered you are by little bits of broccoli, but I don't know if you can see them. There we go. So these I got from some gift shop in Tokyo. They're not like they have a match, so there's like 2 yellows and 2 purples, but I like them mixed together because I like yellow and purple. Do I play chess? Not recently, but I was like in the chess club in school and stuff. Just have some Egyptian food. Oh boy. How do we pronounce this? Let's see. Mulukhia? Mulukhia? Is that how it is? The only Egyptian stuff I've made at home and eaten is kushari or koshari. I'm not sure how to, because some of it's written sometimes with a U and it's written sometimes with an O. But the koshari is really good. I've had that. For those of you who don't know, is that gonna show up? There it is. This is like carbohydrate heaven if you guys like carbs. It's very, very simple. You cook everything together in one pot. It's rice, macaroni noodles, and lentils. It's the simplest thing. It was a good time. Yeah. I had a friend from Saudi Arabia, so I had tried to learn how to cook some stuff just to, as like an excuse to finally learn how to cook some of this stuff. So yeah, it's a good time. I made some fool madames, but it was kind of like from, there was the can, but then adding some stuff to it, and he said it tasted like his mother's fool, so I was very, very happy about that. Because I had him over for Christmas, because I was like, you're Muslim, you don't got nothing to do, so come over, hang out, let's have let's have a meal and whatever. So, I think we watched some movie that I don't even remember. Yeah, unless you burn 5,000 calories in a day, do not eat that regularly. Yeah, this is like, you're eating this for breakfast because you're working hard labor and possibly not eating lunch, Let's see, I try to devise a personality type of almost reincarnation, or in sensible words, if there's someone with a personality very similar to mine, my personality isn't dead. Oh, that's interesting. I like that idea. Full Madamus is the one. It's the best one. It really is. It's so good. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So when I was like strictly vegan, I also had gotten into these different types of things because they're so delicious and it's vegan. So very good. Thankfully, I can order it. There's some people from a lot of people from Turkey here in Korea, and then some assorted places in West Asia. So thankfully there are places where I can buy like a can of this for like a couple bucks, like a couple USD. So that's good. What is this food that you're gonna make, Hiram? What's in it? I would say the Egyptian one is best, followed by the Palestinians. They have a thick one like American chili. I like it with the I don't know, I like every recipe. But I liked it with the tomatoes. Yeah. Like this style. Not with the radishes. I don't know what this radish situation is, but no, with the tomatoes, onions, and I liked eating it with bell peppers and cucumbers, like to dip it in there. It's always a good time. It's just so good, and it's so hearty, and it's very, very good stuff, for sure. All right. Well, if you guys have any last minute stuff, I wanted to make sure to cut this off at the hour. So really to do this only for 30 minutes, just because I have sort of a starter migraine today, and I didn't want that to evolve. So we're hopefully gonna pinch that, or at least cap that. So I need to get up and move around and stuff before my class starts. But yeah, if you guys have any last minute comments, let me know. I do recommend you guys should try this if you haven't. Like, you just go, oh man, in the US, like, so I used to have to be on government assistance, like after the military. And one of the things that I found out was that, a lot of shops, so, just growing up, like half of our grocery shopping was done in Asian markets anyway. And so I was really glad to know that they would take your government, like, assistance, nicknamed food stamps or EBT card or whatever. So they would take that. They take it as a payment. So that was good, but we also had a lot of like Arabic shops as well. So I was able to go there. So go there, check them out, especially if you're on like a fixed income or something. And you can get there. I do recommend checking out just like I guess foreign food shops. A lot of it is despite the fact that it's imported, it's rather affordable. And in some cases, it's cheaper than buying it at like a standard grocery store, like a Safeway or a Food Lion or what are some other words? A Kroger. So it's actually cheaper than buying it there. I think if I were to try to buy something like this in one of those standard grocery stores, it might actually be double the price. The soy sauce was cheaper. The rice was cheaper, the ramen was cheaper, other types of noodles, tofu, the shirataki noodles, which are those, they're made with like a starch and they've got almost no calories. Those were always cheaper at like the Asian markets. Really, really, really recommend you go there. Try this stuff out. Yeah, it's super, super, super good. You'll see it as FUL, but it's also FOUL. But it's not pronounced foul, and it is not foul. But you can just buy it straight up in a can, and it's ready to rock and roll. Despite being in a can, it's quite good. Do not buy dolmas in a can, though. Those grape leaves, just make them. Just, oh my gosh, do not buy those pre-made in a can. They're the worst. Make your own. They're super simple. Buy the grape leaves. You just put like seasonings and rice in there, cover them in water, and simmer them for like an hour. It's very foolproof. Lots and lots of lemons, though, so that's a good time. Alrighty. Government assistance after the military. That's a hell of a thing to do to a veteran. Yeah, I mean, I was like straight up didn't even have a home for a while, so that was exciting. Yeah, I don't know. It was just very easy to it just happened. Like, it just happened one day. Just circumstances had stacked, and I was working 3 jobs, I was working 2 jobs, I was working more than normal, and then lost my home. And okay, and I was making so little money, working so, like, I was up at 4 a.m. and I would get home at 11 p.m. and I was making so little money that I still qualified for unemployment insurance. And I was always raised being told people are poor because they're lazy, they don't want to work, they're uneducated. Here was me, I started college when I was 16, I'm a veteran, I'm working 3 jobs, and I don't have money. Like, I'm working so hard, where is this? But this was during the economic slump that we had, the crash, I guess you can call it, back in like 2008. And you just couldn't find work. It was just, you had to do any work you could. The only thing that got me out of that really was the change to the GI Bill that former President Obama had put into place. So that way I could go back to school and not have to work. I still chose to work because I was so scared of being out of money because of what had happened. So I was still working, but at least I was able to, they give you stipends to afford a place to live, and, stipend for books and all, and also just paying for your school outright. I honestly, that's what pulled me out of it, and that was it, and that's not available to most people. So, I mean, the idea of, like, I know that the U.S. is talking about raising the federal minimum wage and stuff. They're raising it because people are working more than full time and unable to, they're still having to choose, do I pay rent or do I pay for food? And they're working full time, So, yeah, not great. Not great. Has that treatment jaded your view of the U.S.? No, I think the big treatment, or the big thing that's really changed my view of the U.S. is not living there and living afar. I think when you're in the U.S., I don't know, you just kind of make sense of it in a lot of ways. And you hear all these different opinions, and they seem to maybe have it, and something to it, whatever. But being away from it, you realize that some of those opinions, they weren't true. Like, we were always told that medical care is super expensive, and that's why we can't have national medical care. It's going to take away like 50% of our paycheck and whatever, and then there's long lines, they're not going to help you, people are dying waiting for treatment, whatever. And then I came to Korea, they're barely taking, what, maybe 5% of my pay. I can see any doctors that I want. When I needed emergency surgery, it was just there. I didn't have to wait. I got it same day. I went in to the emergency room, recommended by the doctor that I had seen. He's like, you need surgery right this second. Okay. We went in, they verified it, and, within an hour, I was in surgery, Thankfully, I hadn't been able to eat all day, because you don't want to eat before surgery. But yeah, and it was so cheap. I got, the medication and the surgery and 2 days in the hospital. It was like maybe $300, and you can still get private insurance on top of that, so it's even cheaper. It's not, it's nothing like I was taught in the US, So I just try to let people know that you guys, it's okay to have healthcare. It's called the poverty trap because it is one. Yeah, and I feel lucky that I had a car. Because if I didn't have a car, I couldn't afford to work. You know what I mean? There's that problem in the U.S. of being too poor to find a job. If I didn't have a car, there also wasn't any bus system. And if the only place, because there was like one plaza within walking distance from where I had lived, if they didn't have anything available for work, I just wouldn't even be able to afford to get a job. How nonsense is that, So it's just very, very ridiculous. Let's see. The 2008 crash is what created the strongly self-reliant Lee Lemon we know today. I think it contributed for sure, but I think a lot of stuff contributed to it as well. So I can't say that was it. But what that did was really open my eyes to the problem of in a substandard minimum wage, and that you can just find yourself in that situation. Some of my students, they want to do sports, and they think, well, I don't really need to finish school because I want to do sports. And I'm like, hey, cool. School's not for everybody. I get that. But if you are in a car accident and you just destroy your shoulder through no fault of your own, your entire career path is altered, and I let them know that, I had thought I was going to stay in the military forever, and that did not happen. And now I have, silly problems like I can't sit for too long, I'm very lucky that I love teaching, and I'm very lucky that I had education to fall back on. But, that's what I let them know. You don't need to do the school route. That's fine. But leave it open just in case you have to come back. Leave on a good note, so that way at least you can get into a good school. And I let them know, even if you don't want to, here's the ways that you can kind of work around that. If you graduate with a very low GPA, you can go to a community college, boost that GPA, and then transfer to a university. They look at your community college, not your high school, so those are some ways around it. So I let them know. I think that I don't know if I would say it's a good experience, but I would say I'm glad I have that experience. I think it helps relate to people. I think it helps prepare my students if they are having certain situations that they might run into. But it's also for people that do feel helpless, like people that are very obese, for example. They want to lose weight, but they're like, I can't afford to eat healthy. And it's like, no, I was on that too. Like, I was on government assistance too. Here's what I bought, and, help them, like, be able to make, like a grocery list for them, and just say, this is what you can buy. And these are all super, super cheap. you know, this is, it's, you're not like confined to all of these unhealthy foods just because they appear cheap. You know, there's other stuff that's healthy that's cheap too. It doesn't take a lot of time to make. If you can buy a rice cooker from a secondhand shop, then this cooks itself, you know, and you don't have to stand over a stove. You can turn it on, you know, do your laundry. If you have kids, take care of your kids, whatever. You hear the ding, it's done. And if you don't get to it right away, it stays hot, it stays warm, it doesn't burn. You can get to it later. You can, you know, make too much of it and then have it for breakfast tomorrow or take it with you to lunch tomorrow. So these are all these little time-saving things that I had to figure out because I didn't have a lot of money and I was working 3 jobs and I was still exercising, you know, and at the time I was walking with a cane. So I was a lot slower. I had to prepare my day to account for the fact that I can't like do something quickly. So it is, I would say it's good to have that experience to help other people, but would I prefer to have never had that experience and other people never having that experience? Yeah, I would prefer if we just fixed the minimum wage. What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger? No. What doesn't kill you can leave you scarred for life and upset and traumatized. And there's a lot of ways that can end. So I don't believe in that thing. Yeah. It would have been better if the system was set up so that never could happen. It did happen. It still happens. So at least I can use my experience to help people, but it's still better that that never happens. Yeah. Let's see. Just real quick what you guys are saying. When I visited there, it was $4.25. It's called a poverty trap. Let's see, here we go. The U.S. has 40 million out of its 330 million. 40 million people out of work or out of medical insurance, yeah. If that happened in Egypt, we would have killed the entire government. We're talking about the Arab Spring today, by the way, so I guess happy 10 years. There's a bread shortage and Morsi was toppled, yeah. No, not that bad. 40 million without any kind of medical insurance. It's too bad. I don't want to be an old man driving very slowly on a highway in the U.S. I want to use good public transportation when I'm over 60. Of course, as you said, good healthcare with clean hospitals. I love driving. Love it. I just would go on these long drives in the United States. I mean, I just love driving. Really don't want to do it in Korea. Never had to so far. I love the public transportation system. I love it. I just love it. And with these electric scooters, it's even better. So when I arrive at the subway station, I'm just having like too bad of a migraine time, I can rent a scooter and scooter my way to work and scooter my way back. So I don't even have to wait for the bus to help me out with that. So it's great. I love it. I love being able to, yeah, you know, you got your music on in your car and you're singing and whatever, but I don't have to pay attention to driving. I don't have to deal with yelling at the drivers for cutting me off and stuff, because I can still listen to my music in, you know, on the subway and read the news. That's way better. I can play Pokemon Go on the bus. You know, I don't have to pay attention to my driving. That's so much better. Especially with migraines, you know, I would rather do this when I have a migraine. I can't do this when I'm driving, you know, so it's much better. Uh-oh, what did I do to these lashes? I don't wear fake lashes very often. Yeah. All right, so yeah, it is migraine medication time. That's exactly what I was gonna say. If you guys want to keep this conversation going, please do. Please jump into the Discord chat. But yeah, it is like, it feels like there's a nail, not like a nail, but like a hammer and nail like pressing through the back. So I gotta get going. World is not ready for Lululemon road rage. I'm not ready for it. Who needs that extra stress? People still play Pokemon Go. Yep, I'm one of them. So yeah, you guys can add me. I have it on my phone and I have it on my computer. Spoofer. So yeah, it's a good time. See you guys later. Bye.